For the past days I've been reflecting like on what would I have done if all of a sudden I turned 19 again and like had to relive the past years of my life. And I feel like there's no easy answer to that, which is curious, because there are two schools. The first one is you're in your 20s, it's the best time of your life, enjoy yourself, go out, drink as much as you can, have one night stands. And the other school, the other side goes, you know what, actually 20s is a really good time to just sit down and prepare for like what's coming. And it's really hard to balance it, because as a young person, there's just so much pressure on you from adults, from your family, from society. Like, at what point we decided that it was normal for us to tell 19 years olds graduating high school, say shit like, hey, you know what? You're supposed to choose one path, one career, and just pursue it till the end of your life. You're supposed to go to college and study one thing, or maybe you're gonna have a minor if you're lucky. And this is what you're gonna do. Like, how is that even okay? So if you are, I'd say if you are between like 20 and 30, or I'd say even more like under the age of 25, and you're hesitating, you found your YouTube, you found your audience. I'm here to talk about that because I don't know, it's just such an interesting topic, because as I said, there's just so much pressure from all sides, and some people are incredibly lucky to just know the path. They have a calling. I had a classmate. We were all like 10, 11, and then I remember him walking to school and just announcing to everybody that he is going to be a surgeon. Like, he's going to be a cardiologist. This is what he wants to do. And I remember my reaction was, notice I was also 11, and my reaction to it was like, wow, like how the hell does he even know? How can you decide at such a young age that you want to be something and just be ready to pursue it and kind of really devote yourself to this calling? Which I think is amazing. And honestly, I was incredibly envious, because me, as an 11-year-old, the only thing that I really loved to do was reading, and still not that seriously. 11, girl, you have no focus, you just wanna jump, run around, and I don't know, just kind of socialize. At least for me, I'm a very social person, and I was a very social child. So that's the thing. Number two, I really love to be with my girlfriends. Oh my god, it was the absolute best thing. Just be with your friends, talk about everything and anything, make fun, come up with jokes, watch movies together. It's just like, explore the world and not just on your own. And I'm also the only child, so I feel like maybe that's why socializing was such an important part for me, to just be able to experience life with other people, not just like with my mom, but people who are the same age as you, people who grow up in the same environment. So I had a lot of fun. So then when this classmate told us that he was going to be surgeon, yeah, I really felt envious, because starting from that age, school teachers and your parents already start pushing you and telling you that you're supposed to be this or supposed to do that. If you choose to be an engineer, you're going to be making a lot of money. You can all go into arts because they don't make enough money. Yeah, that sounds fancy and very glamorous, but you're actually never going to make it. You're not talented enough for this. We don't have enough money to pay for your college if you choose to study math. I don't know, whatever. And then he just came to us and he just said in such a free way that he was going to be surgeon. That is amazing. And guess what? He is, in fact, a surgeon. From what I know, it's not like we stayed in touch. I didn't really like him all that much, but I suppose he's a decent surgeon. When you decide to become one at the age of 11, you bitch better be. And this is cool, but at the same time, you just lose, all of a sudden, you lose this freedom to become anything that you want. And I'm not saying that if you choose to become a surgeon, you can be other things in life, but just professionally speaking, let's be completely realistic. If you spend 12 years of your life at school studying to be a surgeon, you're probably not gonna switch later, because you just sacrifice so much of yourself, and it's just so hard and so tedious and very often expensive too, depending on where you study. So yeah, you just know that you're going to be that. You cannot explore other sides, because this is what I did, and that's pretty much what I'm still doing to this day. And yeah, it is very scary in a way, because you just don't have this stability. You're not making as much money as a surgeon, but at least you can try yourself in different things. And I think it also comes from different temperaments, from different personalities. He was always a little bit more introverted. He really loved to study. I spent hours going through the same pages. Me, on the other side, I was good at talking, communicating, sharing my thoughts, making other people laugh, and as I said, being with my girlfriends. So it's pretty much the same in your 20s. What are you supposed to do with your life? Well, if you're like my classmate and you already know what you want to do, and you know the sacrifice that it's going to take you to get you there, unfortunately or not, you just know that you're going to have to pursue it. Even though, I'm going to tell you, people who go to medical schools party the hardest. Maybe because they spend so much time just studying and most of the days look exactly the same. They party so hard. Honestly, how hard I partied in my life, I don't think I could do that. This is just completely over the top, intoxicating in a way. So I'd advise against that. So then the real question is, for real, what are you supposed to do in your 20s? Should you be preparing for this future that is still so unknown and not even tangible, and you don't know anything about it, and nothing is clear? You don't know if you want to be a parent. You don't know if you want to get married. You don't know where you want to live, what you want to do with your life. You know nothing about any possible financial decisions that you're going to make in life. What should you do? Well, let's talk about me, because that's the thing that I know. What I did, especially in my early 20s. I was pretty much lost professionally. I really didn't know what to do. I knew things that interested me, but very much, unfortunately, I was more on the creative side. And that's what your parents tell you. You're never gonna make money if you go to cinema school, art school, fashion school. Those are the things that I really liked. So I kind of abandoned this idea, at least temporarily, because I just knew I needed to get a steady job, because I could not afford myself to just do whatever. I'm not a Nepo baby. I don't come from generational wealth. So I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna negotiate with myself. I'm just gonna go for something like more general to make sure that at least I can get a job. And then once I get the job, with the free time that I have, I'm gonna improvise a little bit. One of the first parties, like real parties, I'm not talking let's go for drinks with friends and then you get back home by 1 a.m. and you slightly drunk. I'm talking real party. I'm talking we're going to be partying the whole night. You're probably going to be wasted if that's what you want to do. You're going to be tired for the next days, that type of party. So my first one was, I think I was like around 21, and that was so much fun. It was a techno party. I was still not really familiar with electronic music at all. And I just had that friend who randomly invited me to party with them. And that was one of the best times of my life. Honestly, we lost a lot on the day. One of the girls who was with us, I didn't even know her until that day. She got really high. I'm not gonna go into details, but considerably high, to a point where she lost her jacket. It was winter. It was like 3 degrees outside, so you literally cannot just go with a t-shirt on. She lost her jacket, she lost her wallet, she lost her phone. That was later found in my bag for whatever reason. I'm the mommy to everyone. You can easily find whatever you want in my bag. I pocketed 2 random iPhones, and both of them belong to my friends, which is genius, I think. She lost her keys, the most importantly, and keys are really expensive these days, or should I say doors, or should I say locksmith. So she had to pay like 800 euros to unlock her door, which was really annoying. Me, I also did lose my jacket, and to this day I still do not understand whatever the hell happened, because I'm pretty sure I had it around my waist, and for whatever reason it's like slipped down or something. And I really liked it. It was like a cute Uniqlo puffer jacket. It was so nice, and I was never able to find the exact same one because they just discontinued it. It was just so annoying and so unfair. Life sometimes is a bitch, I'm telling you. Did I enjoy that party? Yes, absolutely. It was so much fun, because also I got to experience a community that was so different from what I was seeing around me, because I was in a business school. very boring. Don't go to business schools in France. 98% of them suck. You're not gonna learn much. So I was in the business school surrounded by people who kind of look still more on an ambitious side, more on a healthy side, because they knew they had to study and make more money in the future. And then all of a sudden I was at this techno party with people from all kinds of backgrounds, different ages, different styles, different ways of expressing themselves. And I really felt home. It was such a good feeling to just, maybe for the first time in my life, completely let go. It did cost me my jacket. I should absolutely say that. Do I regret this jacket? In the moment, yeah. Because I did walk back home in a t-shirt and 3 degrees outside. I did. That was not a fun experience. However, on the brighter side, this night is unforgettable. Like, I literally recall every single detail, every single thing that happened there, except for when I lost my jacket. But once again, that's just a detail, isn't it? But yeah, it was still just such a very occasional thing for me. I wouldn't go out all the time. I had a job. I was at school. I had a job at the same time, and I also had a very serious job for a very big luxury brand. So I just couldn't allow myself to look like I was tired, to not have full makeup face on, because it was kind of part of my life. So I knew that I had some obligations that maybe some people don't when they're in the 20s. Later on, I don't know, for a while I kind of felt that I was completely out of that life and I was not that interested, because sometimes I would have this feeling like maybe once or twice a year, like, oh my God, should I go out? Should I do something? But then I would remember how tired you get and how much money it costs you, because you still need to pay for your Uber. If you're drinking, you need to pay for your drinks. Even if it's not alcoholic drinks, it's still incredibly pricey. So as a student, like, you don't have that much money. You go, maybe this time I should just skip it. And then I ended up dating someone for a couple of years. So obviously when you have this routine of like, you're together, you're doing something, you spend a lot of time with each other, the rest doesn't matter that much. So you actually feel that you can sacrifice a part of it. And honestly, first thing I want to say is, if you have this calling in you, like just a little voice in your head saying, hey, I'd like to party, maybe not all the time, maybe just here and there, but oh my God, I have a boyfriend, oh my God, I can't, I need to see my mom. You know what? Actually, absolutely go do it, because this is nothing, first of all, there's nothing wrong with it. And secondly, there's nothing worse than adults who never got to experience themselves in this way, like 50 plus, who all of a sudden don't care about their families no more, don't care about their jobs no more. They just want to go out, they just want to experience it. And I'm not saying this, it's wrong. I'm just saying honestly, you just cannot allow yourself to party in the same way. Your body makes you pay severely. You tend to pay for everyone, also really bad for your pockets, because you're like, I don't have money, so should I just offer everybody shots? You shouldn't do that. And then you have to sacrifice things you can't really sacrifice that much. You have to sacrifice your kids, your family time, maybe your work. It's not worth it. I think partying in your 50s is still really fun. However, you're never gonna party in the same way, probably, because it's just different. Unless maybe you have a lot of money and then you can afford a nanny and then you don't need to go to the office on Monday morning. That's different. But still, if you feel this calling in you to just do a little bit of this, to experiment, because that's the fun part. The fun part about partying and go out is experimenting. It's just like putting yourself in different settings and seeing how you would react. If you like yourself there, if you don't, if you be able to make some friends, or if you hate everything going on around you. And you're never gonna know those things unless you deliberately put yourselves in those situations. You don't have to force yourself, but I'd say if somebody invites you for a cute party, you're 21, you never been to a party before, you should absolutely go do it. Just try. Like, you can always go back home at 2 a.m. if you're absolutely done with it. But it's best if you try now rather than find yourself once again in your 50s trying for something, like catching on time. You can never catch on time. Time is made in a very interesting way. And I'd say it's never too late to start nothing. So if you never partied before and you're 50 and all of a sudden you want to do that, absolutely. But I feel that some things still have some sort of timing. And why going out is one of them is because it's a very body related experience, because you're dancing, you're using on your energy. So when you're 20, you go out, honestly, even if you're not drinking, you can stay sober the whole night, you will still be fine on the next day. Quick hour or two of sleep, you'll be fine. You're a highly performative person. You cannot allow yourself the same thing when you're 50. So that's why I'm like, maybe start it a little bit earlier and then just do it occasionally. But at the same time, like, should you just spend your whole 20s partying and like that's pretty much it and then you don't do any other things? No. I really think it's a question of balance, and thankfully that's something that I had, because as I said, the first time I started partying I was like 21. The whole time I was at school, the whole time I had a job, so I was still very stable in my life. And then I kind of abandoned it for this time of my romantic relationship, and then something happened, and that is something that you definitely heard of and experienced yourself. It is called COVID, and yeah, that's when I started to party. I wouldn't say hard, but I would say definitely a lot, and occasionally excessively, because for such a long time we were starved of friendships, socializing, being around people, like imprinting off the energy, because as a human you can really only truly live if you still have some kind of interactions with people. Very few people like, I'm a loner. No, most of us are just not like that. Let's be completely realistic. So you really need a little bit of that. And I was so starved. I remember how much was this COVID, like 3 months or something? I was actually really fine during the time. I was still in my romantic relationship, and that's when I already knew that I couldn't be there no more. So I'm thankful to COVID, because it did give us a lot of time to just sit down and realize a lot of things. However, once you do realize them, you really need to start acting on them. And that's when I decided that I needed to know more people. I needed to learn more about some worlds that I just never interacted enough with. And the world of electronic music and like partying seemed to be the most appropriate one for me. But once again, by that time, I had already graduated my university, so I was pretty much a free man, meaning that I already had the skills to get myself jobs, to make sure that I could cover my rent and everything that I needed to be covered. So I was not as scared as, some students who go out excessively and then they miss on the classes, because I'm like, you know what? I'm actually already good. I just need to make sure that if I party, I do it on a Friday or Saturday night, so then I spend my Sunday resting, and then on Monday I'll be good as new, or maybe half new, or I'll be half broken, but it's still kind of presentable enough. So as I was saying, I think it's really a question of balance. I think 20s is a really good time to learn a lot of valuable skills. But what I hate about our society is that people only define valuable skills as skills related to accomplishing, to making more money, to things that are, like driven, work driven, career driven. And I understand why. Unfortunately, living the life that we are, we need money. However, what about social skills? What about emotional intelligence? You cannot develop those skills just going to work. You really need to interact with people in different ways. And I'm telling you, the experiences that I went through and the skills that I developed thanks to interacting with people, thanks to talking to people, thanks to just meeting so many people, thanks to dancing, spending my nights outside, is something you can only get through socializing. I'm afraid I don't think socializing in a professional way is most of the time healthy, because just capitalism, it's horrible. People really have to pretend all the time. People don't pretend at parties. People don't care. People let it go and they have fun. Just if you do that, if you're considering that, just obviously please make sure that from Monday to Friday you're still trying to have some sort of balance and a healthy life, and you still have some goals. And like, don't feel bad also if on occasional weekends you just have that need to let go and just float in the air, be sweaty, wear whatever you feel like wearing, look like a slut, have fun with your friends, because there's nothing bad about it. And I feel like me being in the business school, you really have to look certain type of way, to behave a certain type of way. They don't even accept like random people. The selection is still quite hard. And I just felt so clean and so good and so nice all the time. I needed to purge myself. That's why I needed those parties. I needed some kind of purging. I needed to feel a little bit dirtier in a way, to just experience this other side of myself that I never got to experience. I am still, however, very lucky that I have a very high level of self-control, and I knew when to stop, and I knew when to go home to sleep. I also, every single time, I still went to work. Some people don't have that, so be careful if you're one of them. But yeah, just find some balance in between all of that. And girl, like, you can absolutely be a student, pursue a career, gain some valuable skills, and party at the same time. Just as you can be a mom, a dad, a parent, and pursue a career at the same time. Like, those things are not incompatible. It's hard sometimes to combine them, but it is still absolutely doable if you know how to manage your time. Please go out a little bit in your 20s. It's so much harder when you're 49 because your body's tired, because you're exhausted, and you're like, you know what, should I just like invite people over to my place and like, and it is also fun, but you don't feel that purge. You don't feel that purge that you need to feel when you're really young. You don't let go at those parties. Find a balance. Find a balance. Experience a little bit of both. Still, like, set some goals for yourself. Those goals don't need to be like 15-year-long goals. It could be like, oh, by the end of next year, it'd be cute to have accomplished this or that. But for the love of God, go outside and experience it. And please, when you go outside, make sure that you share your location with your friends, that you go in there with the people that you trust. If you don't want to stay sober, that's okay. But please be careful with whatever substances that you take, and just have fun. It was so nice for me. I still do it very occasionally. I'm just kind of got over it because I've experienced it in a way that it was so big and important, and it took such a big proportion in my life that today I want to dedicate myself to other things. But damn, was it nice? Was it nice? Yes, it was. Why wouldn't it be nice for you? Like, go try both. I don't know, go try both and tell me if you prefer to stay home and study, if you're that type of personality, or if you prefer to be a little slut at a little party. Maybe both, like me.